So the new Skate game that still lacks a release date already has implemented microtransactions in its closed alpha playtest. Whereas the place that you test the game to make sure things work, the microtransactions are in there to purchase things for the playtesting. And this story came through. I was like, I mean, I'm a former game tester. So my experience is like in this realm of like, you don't do this kind of stuff. You don't do this kind of stuff to your alpha testers. It's wild. So this is a story that comes to us from Insider Gaming. And it's Mike Straw. And by the way, Insider Gaming, they've been doing pretty good lately. I mean, I know I talk a lot of shit about these journos and these outlets. Insider Gaming's been pulling their weight. EA adds microtransactions to Skate's closed alpha. EA has officially added microtransactions to Skate's latest alpha. In an update message sent out to players, EA teased an epic gameplay update along with other exciting updates to the game. One of those exciting updates from the developer, Full Circle, is the addition of microtransactions. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? Microtransactions? You guys excited? I know I'm excited. To the current closed alpha playtest. This, according to a message sent to players that has been provided to Insider Gaming. Known as San Van Bucks, this in-game currency allows players to buy various cosmetic items. According to Full Circle, this is being added to make sure players have a, you ready for this? Positive experience when purchasing items from the Skate store. So their justification for adding microtransactions is to ensure players have a positive experience when buying microtransactions. What? What? Make it make sense. What? How out of touch do you have to be to say that? To ensure we achieve these goals at early access. This is comedy. We have enabled the option to purchase and use virtual currency, San Van Bucks, in our ongoing closed alpha playtest. Hey, closed alpha beta players that are testing this game to make sure it works and functions and can report bugs to us, you now have the exciting opportunity to buy additional content from us while you're being able to provide feedback to us, and we don't get to have to pay you for that, and instead you pay us. Joe King says, your money will be greatly appreciated. The message continues. Your feedback will be greatly appreciated in providing a great experience at early access. I can't even read this. How delusional of an executive do you have to be like, all right, I got an idea, guys. Stay with me here. We're going to offer people to pay for something that they should be getting for free. But if we pick them up from underneath and say, well, no, we're presenting an exciting opportunity. We could give it to you. Sure, we could. That would be silly though. But you could buy these games, these DLCs, these microtransactions. You can open your wallet, make sure our store functions, and not be reimbursed for anything. You just give us your money and we keep it. Isn't that exciting? Like it's the best thing ever. Because the game is still in a playtesting state, it's mentioned that account progress might be reset at times and will be fully reset before launch. What? Should you spend any money on the San...
John Richard Taylor wanted to charge $1 to reload your gun every time in one of the Battlefield games. Remember that kind of greed happens.
I remember that story, Inkling. I remember that when they wanted to charge $1 to reload your gun. I was like, all right, we've gone too far. It's time to go back. Gaming has jumped the shark. We need to reevaluate. I forgot all about that. That in itself should explain everything about the mentality of these people. Should you spend any money on San Van bucks in turn on items, any purchases you make will be converted back to San Van bucks and will be made available again at the start of early access. Oh, how nice of them. So at least you get your money back, but it's not your money back. It's just converted into digital currency that you have to spend on the game again when it comes out for everyone. Even though you're in early access right now and letting them know about bugs and stuff, and they're not paying you for it. You think that they could do people a solid, at least in early access. Not even early access, sorry. Alpha. It's not even early access. It hasn't even gone into early access yet. You think in alpha that they would be able to provide some sort of, hey, we can hook you guys up because you're giving us your effort into this game. So sure, you can get the microtransactions. You would think. To make sure you get them, though, you have to use the same EA account for both playtesting and early access. EA Skate is scheduled to release sometime in 2025, which, by the way, scheduled sometime, expected. In the year 2025, that is hardly a guarantee. Hardly. When it does, the game will be free to play on PC and console. The game is also expected to come to mobile. What do you think about EA Skate adding microtransactions during a closed alpha test? I'll tell you what I think. I think it's the biggest bullshit move and unfortunately expected move from one of the most hated companies, not just game companies, but hated companies overall in the world. And EA reminding everyone why they suck. And I said, even in my tweet about this, oh, EA, just when we start giving goodwill to you from Split Fiction, you go and pull this crap. To be fair, Hypnotic replied, LOL, EA would never deserve goodwill. Only Hazelight did. If Hazelight was weak, they would allow microtransactions from EA as well. For now, they don't. That can change, obviously. I agree, but I would also counter him and say, I give EA the goodwill of allowing Hazelight to do their thing and not forcing microtransactions and bullshit into their game, into their studio, which Hazelight is an EA studio. So if they wanted to, they could do that. It would throw a wrench into a very well-oiled machine that's working perfectly, but EA still has the right to do that. So that's what I meant by giving them goodwill. At least they were allowing Hazelight to operate freely. And then we see this shit happen, and I'm just like, man, all the goodwill completely burned. Dr. Pika, 1 step forward, 5 steps back. Exactly. Former Dragon Age Failguard people like Epler are working on Skate. That's true. John Epler is working on Skate. So why am I not surprised? I wonder what else will be messed up. EA is the most bipolar company ever. They released Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, which are mostly free of DEI. Those games are incredibly financially successful. Then they released Dragon Age Veilguard, which is a full, blatant virtual signaling and propaganda. Finally, they released Split Fiction, which has no DEI mandates and received a positive response from the gaming community. And then this happens. I forgot to mention Dead Space remake. It definitely had some mandatory DEI as well. I mean, EA, if they're not one side of the spectrum, they're the other one. I can't get over this. Like I said, like, if you're not familiar with how the game industry is expected to work and historically had worked, you don't charge microtransaction fees to closed alpha playtesters. That's insane. Jay Watt says, did George appear somewhere? Maybe, but not on my timeline. Look at this guy. This guy trying to be like, I know better than you. They literally give you a message before you load in about the refunds. And you can buy loot boxes instead of spending real money on hype name brands. Y'all need to learn how to read or actually get into the playtest to see. Or, I don't know, you can not play defense for a Fortune 500 billion-dollar company that is shoving slop in your face and saying, eat it up on something that should be given to you for free for putting the work in. It's wild to me that they have somehow found a way to spin it to be like, oh, early access, you want to play this game so bad? All right, you want the microtransactions? You got to pay for them. Oh, yeah, and we also need your feedback and bug reports. But yeah, that's Skate. That's EA. And is anyone really surprised? Is anyone really surprised? EA is EA, and it's all spectrums, and it doesn't know what it wants to be. Dragon says, I personally never get anything with EA on it. I mean, that's my frustration with this whole situation. I typically have the same standpoint, but Split Fiction was Hazelight Studios, a branch of EA, and it was such a good game. I mean, I'm not done with it. It is such a great game, and I can't wait to get back to it. And I hate the fact that it's an EA brand under the umbrella. It's brutal. It's brutal. Exactly, Tiger King. That guy was, leave the multi-billion-dollar company alone. Let them bend you over. Tammy Bologna says, I saw the clip they showed. There's almost no difference from Skate 3 in terms of gameplay. Even the graphics didn't look that different either. I did not compare the two, but if that's the case, it makes you wonder why anybody would even be hyped for Skate 4. It's quite curious. It's quite curious. No, I mean, Tommy has the flag parade, but I feel like that's like almost like sarcasm. because typically their responses aren't like wild. So I don't know if it's sarcasm or what, but anyways, I'll leave that one there.